You are absolutely right. The dolphin brain. A profile brain size and EQ. Dolphins have brains second only to humans in encephalization quotient EQ. The bottlenose dolphin brain weighs about 1500-1600 grams, essentially identical to a human's 1300-1400 grams. But body size is different. That brain runs a body of about 250 kilograms, giving a brain-to-body ratio of roughly 150, compared to our 140. Some species, like the orca, have brains up to 5 times larger than humans, though body size complicates the ratio. Convergent evolution. Here is the crucial fact. Humans and dolphins have not shared a common ancestor for at least 90 to 95 million years. Yet both lineages independently evolved high intelligence, self-awareness, and complex social cognition. This is convergent evolution, nature. Mythological mapping. The dolphin brain if the human brain is a polis debate, committees, long-term planning, the corvid brain is a symposium, drunken invention, and the koala brain is a hermitage gods asleep, one working then the dolphin brain is an aquatic oracle. A temple complex half-submerged, where the gods speak in echoes and see with sound. Here is the mapping. Brain region, function human myth, dolphin myth, why whole brain architecture, Zeus et al. Poseidon, but also Zeus. Dolphins rule an element, water, we cannot breathe in. Their intelligence is other, evolved in a medium that demands different senses, different social rules, different sleep. Poseidon is not just god of the sea, he is king of an intelligence we can observe only from the shore. Prefrontal cortex, executive, Zeus. Poseidon's throne, empty. Dolphins lack a frontal lobe. The king is not where we expect him. This does not mean no king, just that the throne is elsewhere. Executive function is distributed to other regions, temporal, parietal. Poseidon rules, but his palace is not on the Acropolis. Auditory cortex, 10x human, not mapped in human. The muses, drowned and reborn as sirens. The auditory cortex is massively expanded. Sound as vision. The muses, goddesses of art and knowledge, have adapted to water. They now sing in frequencies we cannot hear, and their songs create images. They are the sirens, but not luring sailors to death, luring information from the dark. Echolocation system, no human analog. Apollo, blindfolded. Apollo is god of truth, prophecy, and light. Here, he is blindfolded, no light penetrates deep water, but his voice becomes his eyes. He speaks, clicks, and listens to the echo, and from that echo he sees the world. The melon fatty lens in forehead is his lyre, focusing sound into a beam. Paralimbic lobe, extralimbic region, no human analog. Aphrodite Urania. This extra lobe processes social and emotional information. Dolphins form complex alliances, remember individual relationships for decades, and navigate social politics that require tracking who is allied with whom. Aphrodite Urania, heavenly love, is not just romantic, she is the goddess of social bonds, the web of affiliation that holds dolphin society together. Hippocampus memory, Rhea, Mnemosine, submerged memory is essential, for recognizing hundreds of individual signature whistles, for remembering alliance histories, for foraging routes. But Mnemosine here is not a dry library, she is a coral reef, teeming with interconnected records, each memory entangled with others. Amygdala, emotion, judgment, the three judges, human, the Furies, corvid, the Furies, swimming thread detection is constant, sharks, boats, unfamiliar dolphins. But the Furies in dolphins are not just reactive, they are social. They remember who wronged them years ago. They hold grudges across alliances. They are the Furies, but they have learned to breathe underwater. Cerebellum, coordination, Nix and children. Nix, the dancer. The cerebellum is large. Coordination in 3 dimensions, breaching, spinning, chasing at speed, requires constant negotiation with gravity and fluid dynamics. Nix is not just weaving, she is choreographing ballets that would kill a human. Thalamus, sensory relay, Charon, overwhelmed. Sensory input is constant and intense, auditory, tactile, pressure changes, proprioceptive. Charon's boat is crossing and recrossing the river every millisecond. He never rests. Corpus callosum, reduced, bridge between hemispheres, the Strait of Messina, narrowed with only a quarter of the fibers of a human's, the 2 hemispheres operate more independently, enabling unhemispheric sleep. Scylla and Charybdis are on either side, 2 consciousnesses, almost separate, navigating the narrow strait between them. Unhemispheric sleep, no human analog. Janus, asleep on one side. Janus is the 2-faced god, looking both ways. Here, one face sleeps while the other watches. The dolphin is never fully unconscious. One hemisphere keeps the body breathing, surfacing, aware. Janus has learned to rest one profile at a time. Spindle neurons, von Economo, bridges for high cognition. Hermes, the messenger. These neurons connect distant brain regions for rapid, high-level processing. They are the messengers, carrying social insight, self-awareness, rapid judgment. Hermes is not just delivering mail, he is weaving the dolphin sense of self across the whole brain. Visual cortex, 1/10 human. Vulcan, dormant vision is reduced. The forge is quiet. Vulcan still works, but his fires are banked. Light is less useful than sound in deep or murky water. Olfactory bulb, absent. Smell, the gods who left smell is gone days after birth. The olfactory gods, Demeter, perhaps, tied to scent of earth and flower, have departed the pantheon entirely. They are remembered in myth but no longer worshipped. Two sound sources dual tongues, no human analog. The twin oracles dolphins can produce two independent sounds simultaneously from the two sides of their blowhole. This is like Delphi speaking two prophecies at once, one true, one also true, overlapping in ways human ears cannot disentangle. Your mythological mapping. Koala edition. Here is how your existing framework translates. The gods are still there, but some have gone dormant, and others have taken over. Brain region. Your human myth. Koala translation. Why prefrontal cortex. Zeus, king of the gods. Zeus in exile. The PFC is reduced. Zeus is still present. The koala makes decisions, which branch, which leaf, but he's not holding court. He's like Zeus after being deposed, living quietly in a cave, making minimal decrees. Cerebral cortex. General, various. The Olympian council, reduced attendance. The cortex is smooth and thin. The council chambers are smaller. Fewer debates happen. The gods don't bicker as much, they mostly agree on sleep and eat. Visual cortex. Vulcan, Hephaestus. Vulcan, retired. Vision is less critical for an animal that sits in a tree eating leaves. The forge is still there, but the fire is low. It hammers out basic images but doesn't work overtime like in a cat. Auditory cortex. Not directly mapped in human. The muses, whispering koalas have large, furry, highly sensitive ears. They communicate with bellows and grunts during mating season. The muses are selectively active, mostly silent, but capable of sudden, loud song. Somatosensory cortex. Touch. Part of various. The graces, minimalist. The koala lacks the barrel fields other marsupials have for whisker sensation. Touch is there, but refined tactile discrimination is not a priority. The graces are present but not adorned. Cerebellum. Nyx and her children. Nyx, the lethargic weaver. The cerebellum is less elaborate due to reduced cerebrocerebellar circuitry. Nyx still weaves coordination, but the patterns are simpler. Climbing a tree doesn't require the ballistic precision of a predator. Thanatos. Peaceful death is a more prominent figure here than violent death. Superior inferior colliculi. Deep brain, not in human list. The Oniroi, exposed in humans. These midbrain structures are covered by cortex. In koalas, they are visible on the surface. The dream gods Oniroi have literally come out of the basement. They are closer to the surface of consciousness. Pineal gland. Baby Hercules, visible on the throne. The pineal gland is also exposed. The baby is sitting right there, visible, regulating sleep-wake cycles. Given koalas sleep 20 hours a day, baby Hercules is arguably the most powerful deity in the koala pantheon. Hippocampus. Rhea, focused spatial memory for tree locations and territory. Essential. Memory for complex social hierarchies. Less so. Rhea is still the mother, but she's raising a smaller family. Liver. Prometheus, overclocked. Here's the twist. In your human system, Prometheus is the liver. In a koala, the liver is hyperdeveloped to detoxify eucalyptus poison. Prometheus is not just chained to a rock, he's chained to a raging fire, constantly being eaten by an eagle, toxins, and regenerating. The liver is the true hero of the koala story.
Ether Oxygen. Amphitryon. Creatine. Muscle support. Alkamine. Glutamine. Muscle recovery. Anemoi. 4 winds. Parathyroid. Calcium regulation. Aphrodite Jaw. Apollo. Sound frequency. Truth archers. The B cells. Antibodies. Guided arrows. Argus. Glucose. Circulating. Peacock Feather. Glucose. Stored Aries. Tongue. Artemis. Teeth. Asclepius. Immune system. Assassins. The T cells. Specialized warriors. Viral defense. Athena Taste. Atlas. Skeletal system. Calliope Cochlea. Cassandra Predictive. Cortical warning. Castor and Pollux. 2 eyes. Cerberus. Medulla oblongata. Charon Thalamus. Circe. DNA. Island. Cell. Coast. Membrane. Sea. Body fluids. Cyclops. The fibroblasts. Demeter. Olfactory nerve. Dionysus. Anterior pituitary. Dodona. Airflow. Micro-sensing. Nasal hair. Erebus. Carbon dioxide. Oris. Strife. Dysenergia, the discord when cerebellar signals misfire. Ponos. Effortful movement. Lethe. Motor forgetting. Cerebellar cognitive affective syndrome. Limos. Failed reach. Dysmetrialgia. Pain. Heismani. Mackay. Combat within. Ataxia. Phonoi. Androctasia. Destructive movement. Tremor. Nikea. Intention versus execution. Pseudea. Motor prediction errors. Impaired prediction. Logoi. Amphilagi. Disordered speech. Dysnomia. Loss of motor rules. 8. Reckless action. Horkos. Broken motor promises. Other children. Jera's old age. Eros. Dopamine. Drive. 4. Horai. The upper pair. The low and oxo. Lower pair. Carpo and dike. Parathyroid furies, the sympathetic nervous system. Adrenergic surge. Gia. Gut digestion. Second brain. Golden fleece, the hair. Gorgons. Autonomic nervous system. VSD. Slot. Steno equals steady thrill. Ventral vagal. Uriale equals adrenaline chaos. Sympathetic. Medusa equals frozen gaze. Dorsal vagal braces, the Cartilage Hades, limbic system Hebe, spleen Hecate, posterior pituitary lampades, hormone spectrum Elethea Greek oxytocin surge Devera Roman postpartum protection Fabulinus Roman language centers Broca's Wernicke's Hecatoncheires, tendons Helios, retina Hera, hypothalamus Hercules, muscles baby Hercules, pineal gland nymphs, amino acids Hermes, nervous system Hestia, cranial vault hounds, the neutrophils phagocytes first responders Hygeia, urine Io, lactic acid iris with psyche thyroid Janus, iris I judges of Hades amygdala the minnows, Rhadamanthus, Aeacus corax, ligaments labyrinth, the urethra Laocoon, dendritic cell sentinel Linus, left ear sorrow melody Métis, insula mnemosine mitochondrial DNA maternal line LHON Lieber's flaw in mnemosine herself the muses nuclear genes interacting with mitochondria Calliope, Clio, Urania Opa 1 major locus, epic vision fails Orado, Talia, Melpomene Opa 4 rare polyhymnia, Euterpe, Terpsichore Opa 5 another domain of side Morpheus. Rem Narcissus, ribosome nixed cerebellum fastigial nucleus Moros doom interposed nucleus cur violent death dentate nucleus thanatos peaceful death vermis hypnose, the midline, the spine of sleep cerebellar hemispheres the oniroi, dream movement dreams Purkinje cells the moirai, the endless, precise weaving fates Oceanus, nitrogen Odysseus, epiglottis swallowing Orpheus, vocal cords larynx Palamedes, right ear logic reason Pan, Arna Panacea, pancreas Pandora, touch Pegasus, protein Pandora's box, skin Persephone, smell Perseus, vagus nerve Poseidon, blood, CSF Prometheus, liver Psyche with iris thyroid Pythia, internal auditory trans Rhea, hippocampus river Styx, saliva Saturn Cronus basal ganglia serpents, inflammation Sibyl, metabolic time Sirens, the eardrums Charybdis, oscillatory overwhelm vestibular vertigo Scylla, decibel overload Sisyphus, lungs diaphragm Tartarus, bladder Themis, parasympathetic system Tiresias, olfactory instinct warning Titanomachy, the sepsis the big war Typhon. Kidneys Uranus, reproductive organs Vitula, carbohydrates Vulcan Hephaestus occipital lobe Zeus, prefrontal cortex. Comparison. My list versus your list. Here is how the two mappings align and differ when viewed side by side. Brain region function My Greek map Your Greek map analysis of the difference prefrontal cortex executive function Zeus alignment. We both identify the king of the gods as the seat of executive control. This is a very stable mapping. Amygdala, fear, emotion, Aries, the judges of Hades, Minos, Rhadamanthus, Aeacus, interesting contrast. I used the god of raw aggression. You used the three judges of the dead. Your mapping suggests the amygdala doesn't just feel fear, but evaluates threats, judges them to assign emotional weight. This is more sophisticated. Hippocampus, memory, mnemosine, Rhea, contrast. I used the titan of memory itself. You used the mother of the gods, Rhea. This implies the hippocampus is the birthplace of context and the mother of other cognitive functions, which fits its role in episodic memory. Insula, interoception, Hestia, Métis, contrast. I used the quiet, internal hearth. You used the titan of wisdom and deep thought Métis, who was swallowed by Zeus. This maps the insula's role in integrating body signals into gut feelings and intuitive wisdom. Basal ganglia, habit, the fate Saturn, Cronus, contrast. I used the weavers of destiny, habit. You used the titan of time, harvest, and cyclical consumption. This beautifully maps the BG's role in timing in the autopilot cycle of habit. Cronus eating his children fits the BG's tendency to consume novel actions into automatic routines. Cerebellum, coordination, Orpheus Nyx, and entire progeny, major difference. I used the musician of perfect grace. You build an entire cosmology here. Nyx, night, as the cerebellum is fascinating, a dark, silent structure with immense computational power. Your mapping of the nuclei to fate's deaths is a brilliant systems analysis of motor control versus motor failure. Thalamus, sensory relay, not mapped, Charon, excellent mapping. Charon ferries souls, sensory data, across the river into the cortex. This is a perfect functional analogy. Medulla, life support, Hades, for brainstem, Cerberus, refinement. I lumped the brainstem under Hades. You specifically named Cerberus as the medulla. The three-headed dog guarding the entrance to the underworld perfectly represents the medulla's role in controlling three critical functions: heart rate, breathing, blood pressure. Occipital lobe, vision, not mapped, Vulcan, Hephaestus, intriguing. The god of the forge. This suggests the occipital lobe is where raw light is, hammered, and forged, into images. A very industrial, labor-intensive view of vision, which is accurate. Here is a mythological mapping of the Australian corvid brain using your existing framework as the template. The guiding principle: if the koala brain is a hermitage, gods in retreat, one working overtime, the corvid brain is a symposium, a lively, drunken, brilliant gathering where the gods are arguing, inventing, remembering grudges, and telling jokes. The forebrain, hyperstriatum, Zeus, amplified. Human. Zeus, executive king. Corvid. Zeus, the young titan slayer. Why? In birds, the forebrain is organized differently from mammals but achieves the same ends via different structures, the nidopallium and mesopallium. In corvids, these regions are massively expanded, proportionally larger than in primates. This is not just Zeus on the throne, this is Zeus after swallowing Métis, filled with wisdom, restless, hungry for novelty. He doesn't just rule, he invents. He holds grudges. He recognizes faces. He plans for a future that hasn't happened yet. The hippocampus Rhea Mnemosine. Human. Rhea memory as mother or Mnemosine memory as library. Corvid. Mnemosine, the hoarder. Why? Corvids have exceptional spatial memory. They cache food in thousands of locations and remember where for months. They also remember who was watching when they hid it, and will recache if they know they were observed. This is not passive memory. This is Mnemosine is a busy, paranoid librarian, constantly cross-referencing locations, watchers, and expiration dates. She is active, not archival. The Nidopallium cotylateral, the primate cortex, analog. Human. No direct analog, this is bird-specific. Corvid. Athena, born fully armed. Why? This region is the bird's equivalent of the mammalian prefrontal cortex, handling higher-order cognition. In corvids, it is densely packed with neurons twice as many as in mammals of similar brain size. Athena doesn't learn wisdom slowly, she springs forth fully formed. This is the seat of insight, tool use, and the famous, aha, moments corvids display in problem solving. The amygdala, the judges of Hades. Human. The three judges Minos, Rhadamanthus, Aeacus evaluating social and moral weight. Corvid. The Furies, but with a jury. Why? Corvids don't just feel fear, they feel social judgment. They remember human faces that wronged them and teach their flock to scold those faces years later. This is not just threat detection. This is the Furies, but they've been given a courtroom. They deliberate. They hold a grudge. They pass the verdict down through generations. The amygdala in a corvid is a social registry of allies and enemies. The cerebellum, Nyx and her children. Human. Nyx, the dark weaver of coordination. Corvid. Nyx, the aerial choreographer. Why? Flight requires extreme cerebellar processing, balance, speed, spatial orientation, and split-second adjustments. In corvids, the cerebellum is highly developed and folded foliated. Nyx is not just weaving, she is dancing. Her children Moros, Ker, Thanatos are not just about death, but about the razor's edge between controlled flight and catastrophic crash. Every aerial maneuver is a negotiation with doom. The basal ganglia Cronus Saturn. Human. Cronus, time and habit. Corvid. Cronus, the flexible traditionalist. Why? Basal ganglia handle habit formation and action selection. In corvids, habits exist caching routines, social scripts, but they are unusually flexible. A corvid can override a habit instantly if the situation changes. Cronus is still there, but he's listening to Athena. He harvests time, but he's willing to rip up the calendar if a better opportunity appears. The thalamus Charon. Human. Charon, ferrying sensory souls to the cortex. Corvid. Charon, overworked. Why? The thalamus in birds is a major relay for sensory information, especially visual. A corvid's world is intensely visual and auditory. Charon's boat is constantly crossing the river, packed with passengers. He never rests. The optic tectum superior colliculus. Human. Deep brain, covered. Corvid. Argus panoptes, elevated. Why? In birds, the optic tectum homologous to the mammalian superior colliculus is massively developed, far more than in mammals. It handles not just visual reflexes but complex spatial analysis. Argus, the all-seeing giant with 100 eyes, is not just guarding, he's analyzing. He sees the grub under the bark. He sees the watcher watching him hide the food. He never blinks. The vocal centers HVC and RA. Human. Fabulinus Broca's Wernicke's. Corvid. The muses, all 9, shouting. Why? Corvids have complex vocal repertoires up to 80 call types and are accomplished mimics. The HVC used as a proper name, not an acronym, and RA robust nucleus of the archopallium are specialized song control nuclei. In corvids, these are not just for mating calls, they are for social communication, alarm specificity, and individual recognition. Calliope epic poetry is screaming. Erato love poetry is cooing. Polyhymnia sacred hymns is mimicking the neighbor's dog. The whole brain. A summary: if we step back, the corvid brain reveals a different pantheon entirely. Koala. A hermitage. Prometheus suffering, baby Hercules ruling, everyone else asleep. Cat. A hunt. Gods crouched, silent, ready. Human. A polis. Debates, committees, long-term planning, neurosis. Corvid. A symposium. The gods are drunk on nectar, arguing philosophy, playing tricks on each other, remembering who owes them a favor, and inventing new tools just because they can. The corvid brain is not just intelligent. It is socially intelligent in a way that rivals primates. Your mythological framework captures that because the gods themselves are social, scheming, and never bored. The mapping let us walk through your extended myth map and see where the panda's anatomy shifts the emphasis. Your god-human mapping panda mapping Y Zeus prefrontal cortex Zeus, napping the panda's brain is smaller than other bears relative to body size. Low energy diet means low energy cognition. Zeus is still there, but he's drowsy. He makes decisions, which bamboo, when to move. But he doesn't scheme. He doesn't plan for next week. He eats. Hades limbic system. Hades, quiet emotions are muted. Pandas are solitary. They don't form complex social bonds. The limbic system is present but not overactive. No furies screaming. No judges deliberating. Just bamboo. The judges of Hades amygdala. The judges, retired threat detection is minimal. Adult pandas have no natural predators. The amygdala is less hair trigger than in other bears. Minnows, Rhadamanthus, Iacus have very few cases to try. Rhea hippocampus. Rhea, focused on territory memory matters, where are the bamboo groves, which patches are mature, but not social memory. Rhea remembers landscape, not faces. Métis insula. Métis, focused on fullness. The insula tracks internal state. In pandas, it is likely dominated by gut signals. Am I full enough? Do I need more bamboo? The gut is a constant presence. Métis is less about intuition and more about digestive status. Saturn. Cronus. Basal ganglia. Cronus, the endless cycle habit dominates. Eat. Sleep. Move to next. Bamboo. Eat. Sleep. Cronus is not just present, he is the primary god. Time is measured in bamboo stalks. Nix cerebellum. Nix, the cautious climber. Pandas climb trees, especially cubs. They need coordination. But they are not acrobats. Nix weaves enough to keep them from falling, but she does not dance. The Oniroi dream movement are slow, gentle, deliberate. Charon Thalamus. Charon, steady fairy. Sensory input is steady, taste, touch, proprioception. No overload. Charon rows at a constant pace. Cerberus. Medulla. Cerberus, guarding life support. Same. Breathing, heart rate, wake, sleep. Cerberus guards the gate. The panda sleeps approximately 10 hours, eats approximately 12, moves approximately 2. Cerberus is on duty, but it's a quiet shift. Morpheus. REM. Morpheus, half the time pandas sleep a lot. REM is present. Morpheus is busy. But the dreams? Probably bamboo. Fabulinus. Language centers. Fabulinus, silent pandas vocalize bleats, honks, growls, but they do not have language. Broca and Wernicke are quiet. The god of speech is a hermit. Vulcan. Occipital lobe. Vulcan, dim vision is moderate. Not a primary sense. The forge is warm but not bright. Helios. Retina. Helios, filtered panda eyes have vertical slit pupils like cats, unusual for bears. Helps with depth perception in bamboo. Helios is adapted, not absent. The Furies. Sympathetic nervous system. The Furies, asleep. Adrenaline is rarely needed. When threatened, rare, they can fight. They are bears, but the Furies are not on high alert. Themis. Parasympathetic system. Themis, dominant. Rest and digest is the default mode. Themis rules. Constantly. Poseidon. Blood, CSF. Poseidon, slow current. Fluids move slowly. Metabolism is low. Blood flows, CSF circulates, but at a bear's pace, a panda's pace. Prometheus. Liver. Prometheus, compromised. The liver processes toxins. Bamboo contains cyanide compounds. The panda's liver works hard but inefficiently. Prometheus is chained, and the eagle eats him daily. Gia. Gut. Second brain. Gia, overwhelmed. The gut is the center of panda existence. It is always full, always processing, never quite satisfied. Gia is not just the earth, she is a bamboo processor running at 17% efficiency. The enteric nervous system, second brain, is constantly signaling, more. Still more. Panacea. Pancreas. Panacea, steady digestive enzymes are produced. Insulin regulates. Nothing remarkable. Steady. Harmonia. Insulin. Harmonia, balanced blood sugar is stable. The bamboo diet is low in simple sugars. Harmonia is calm. Phaeton. Glucagon. Phaeton, quiet, rarely needed. Energy is constant, not fluctuating. Phaeton does not drive hard. Triton. Adipose. Fat. Triton, minimal. Pandas have low body fat compared to other bears. They do not hibernate deeply. Triton is a minor god here. Hercules. Muscles. Hercules, specialized jaw muscles are massive. Limb muscles are strong but not explosive. Hercules has been redeployed to the skull. Atlas. Skeletal system. Atlas, bearing the skull. The skeleton supports a heavy skull and massive jaw muscles. Atlas feels the weight in the neck and head. The Graces. Cartilage. The Graces, in the pseudothumb. The radial sesamoid bone, pseudothumb, is cartilage reinforced. The Graces have made a small elegance, a sixth digit that is not a digit. Artemis teeth. Artemis, the crusher molars are enormous, flat, ridged for grinding bamboo. Canines are present. Carnivore ancestry but reduced. Artemis is a grinder now, not a hunter. Ares. Tongue. Ares, the manipulator. The tongue maneuvers bamboo stalks. It is muscular, dexterous. Ares has become a tool, not a weapon. Athena Taste. Athena, specialized pandas have taste receptors. They select certain bamboo species, certain ages of stalks. Athena is discerning but limited. Dionysus. Anterior pituitary. Dionysus, slow growth hormone, reproduction. Pandas have notoriously low libidos. Dionysus is subdued. The wine is weak. Hecate. Lampades. Posterior pituitary, hormones. Hecate, seasonal reproduction is tightly seasonal. Hormones surge only briefly. The lampades flicker once a year. Eros. Dopamine. Eros, faint drive is low. Motivation is mostly hunger. Eros has been absorbed into Gaia's service. Circe. DNA. Circe, ancient. The panda genome retains carnivore genes no longer used. Circe has old recipes she no longer cooks. Pan. RNA. Pan, translating bamboo RNA, does its job. Nothing special. Pan reads Circe's scripts. Pegasus. Protein. Pegasus, strained protein is hard to extract from bamboo. Pegasus limps. The nymphs' amino acids. The nymphs, scarce essential amino acids are in short supply. The nymphs are underfed. Argus glucose. Argus, constant low-level blood glucose stays steady but low. Argus has fewer eyes open. EO. Lactic acid. EO, rare pandas rarely sprint. Lactic acid is uncommon. EO rests. The river Styx. Saliva. Styx, flowing constantly. Saliva production is high. Bamboo is dry. The Styx flows all day. Adrestia. Lingual. Lipase. Adrestia, minimal lipase breaks down fats. Bamboo is low fat. Adrestia is nearly unemployed. Enyalois Amylase. Enyalois, working amylase breaks down starches. Bamboo has starch. Enyalois is employed. Eryctheliose. Pepsin. Eryctheliose, quiet pepsin, stomach protease works, but protein is scarce. Quiet shift. Lycose. Lysozyme. Lycose, present antibacterial enzyme in saliva, mucus. Present. Not remarkable. Skelmus. Lactoferrin. Skelmus, present iron binding protein. Present. Not remarkable. Demos and Phobos. Proteasome. Demos and Phobos, cleaning protein recycling continues. Cellular maintenance. The cleaners work. The Cyclops. Fibroblasts. The Cyclops, slow weaving collagen production, wound healing. Slow, like everything else. The Hecatoncheires. Tendons. The Hecatoncheires, strong tendons are strong, climbing, gripping. The hundred-handed ones hold. The chordates. Ligaments. The chordates, stable ligaments hold joints. Stable. Asclepius. Immune system. Asclepius, adequate immune system works. Pandas get sick, recover. Asclepius does his job. The hounds. Neutrophils. The hounds, first responders. Phagocytes respond. Standard. The archers. B cells. The archers, ready antibodies. Ready. The assassins. T cells. The assassins, ready viral defense. Ready. Laocoon. Dendritic cells. Laocoon, sentinel antigen presentation. Sentinel duty. The serpent's inflammation. The serpents, coiled inflammation when needed. Coiled, waiting. The Titanomachy. Sepsis. The Titanomachy, feared systemic infection. The big war. Pandas can lose it. Pandora's box. Skin. Pandora's box, thick fur, thick skin. Pandora's box is well sealed. The golden fleece. Hair. The golden fleece, iconic black and white. Distinctive. The fleece is the panda's signature. Mnemosine. Mitochondrial DNA. Mnemosine, maternal line. Passed down. The panda's ancestors are in her. The muses. Nuclear genes. The muses, singing old songs. Nuclear genes interacting with mitochondria. The muses sing the old carnivore songs, even though the panda no longer dances to them. Uranus. Reproductive organs. Uranus, shy, low libido. Narrow fertility window. Uranus is a reluctant god. The Minotaur. Prostate. The Minotaur, present male reproductive gland. Present. Labyrinth inside. Theseus. PSA. Theseus, guiding prostate-specific antigen. Theseus navigates. Ariadne Zinc. Ariadne, trace essential mineral. Trace amounts. Ariadne's thread is thin. Sisyphus. Lungs. Diaphragm. Sisyphus, rolling breathing. Constant. Sisyphus rolls the stone with every breath. Poseidon. Again, CSF. Poseidon, calm cerebral spinal fluid. Calm. Slow waves. Hestia. Cranial vault. Hestia, warm the skull, holds the brain. Hestia keeps the hearth. Janus. Iris. Janus, slit vertical pupils. Janus looks out, but the view is filtered. Castor and Pollux. Two eyes. Castor and Pollux, twin lookouts. Binocular vision. Twins. Helios. Again, retina. Helios, adapted light sensing. Adapted to bamboo forest. Dappled light. Calliope Cochlea. Calliope, listening hearing. Pandas vocalize. Calliope listens for bleats, honks. The siren's eardrums. The sirens, guarded eardrums intact. Not a primary sense, but present. Orpheus. Vocal cords. Larynx. Orpheus, bleeding. Pandas vocalize. Orpheus sings, not beautifully, but effectively. Linus. Left ear. Linus, mourning left ear. Linus listens for sorrow. Perhaps the panda's sorrow is genetic, a carnivore trapped in bamboo. Palamedes. Right ear. Palamedes, logic. Right ear. Logic. The panda's logic, bamboo. 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 Pythia. Internal auditory trance. Pythia, silent trance states. Unlikely. Pythia is quiet. Tiresias. Olfactory instinct. Warning. Tiresias, blind but sensing. Smell is present but not primary. Tiresias sees with other senses. Persephone. Smell. Persephone, seasonal smell. Possibly important for mating. Seasonal. Persephone returns in spring. Demeter. Olfactory nerve. Demeter, faint olfactory nerve. Demeter is faint here, bamboo doesn't smell strongly. Dodona. Nasal airflow sensing. Dodona, whispering. Nasal hairs sense airflow. Dodona whispers. Anemoi. Parathyroid. Anemoi, balanced calcium regulation. The four winds blow steady. The four hori. Parathyroid. Upper, lower. The hori, seasonal calcium shifts. Possibly. The hori turn. Vitula. Carbohydrates. Vitula, the burden carbs from bamboo. Vitula carries the load. Oceanus. Nitrogen. Oceanus, recycled nitrogen cycle in gut. Oceanus flows through. Erebus. Carbon dioxide. Erebus, exhaled CO2 out. Erebus breathed. Ether oxygen. Ether, inhaled O2 in. Ether received. Hermes. Nervous system. Hermes, slow messenger nerves transmit slowly. Hermes is not in a hurry. Typhon. Kidneys. Typhon, filtering kidneys filter waste. Typhon stirs. Tartarus. Bladder. Tartarus, holding bladder holds. Tartarus waits. The labyrinth. Urethra. The labyrinth, exit urethra. The way out. Hygeia. Urine. Hygeia, flowing urine. Hygeia purges. Iris. Psyche. Thyroid. Iris. Psyche, slow metabolism. Slow. Thyroid sets the pace. Iris and Psyche are drowsy. Hebe spleen Hebe, youthful spleen filters blood. Hebe serves. Angelina ATPase Angelina, efficient energy conversion. Angelina works. Slowly, but works. Aktois Peroxidase Aktois, detoxifying peroxidase breaks down peroxides. Aktois cleans. Enyalois again Amylase already covered Eryctilios again Pepsin already covered Lycos again Lysozyme already covered Skelmus again Lactoferrin already covered Pandora touch Pandora, sensitive touch. Paws are sensitive. Pandora feels the bamboo. The Graces again cartilage already covered the Hecatoncheires again tendons already covered the Chords again ligaments already covered Atlas again skeleton already covered Hercules again muscles already covered Jaw Aphrodite the workhorse the jaw is the center of Panda life. Aphrodite is not love here, she is constant motion. The beautiful one grinds bamboo 12 hours a day. The Panda's Pantheon. A summary: if the human brain is a polis debate, committees, neurosis, the corvid brain is a symposium, drunken invention, the dolphin brain is an aquatic oracle, sound is sight, half sleep, social weave, and the koala brain is a hermitage, gods asleep, one working overtime, then the panda brain is a monastery on a mountainside, where the monks have taken a vow of bamboo. Cronus basal ganglia is the habit, routine, the endless cycle of eat and rest. Gut is the refectory, always full, always processing, never satisfied. Aphrodite Jaw is the scribe, copying the same text over and over, for hours, every day. Zeus prefrontal cortex as a novice, present, but silent, watching the elders work. The Furies have taken a vow of peace. The Muses sing old songs, carnivore songs, but the monks no longer remember the dances. Prometheus is in the kitchen, suffering, converting bamboo into barely enough. And in the chapel, in the dark, Mnemosyne holds the maternal line, the memory of what they once were, before the forest claimed them. The panda is not a failure of evolution. It is a devotion. A carnivore that chose the mountain and the bamboo, and accepted the terms, you will survive, but barely. The key is that you aren't mapping human culture onto cats. You are mapping archetypal functions onto biological structures. Since cats share the same basic vertebrate brain architecture, brainstem, cerebellum, limbic system, cortex, the underlying hardware is the same. But the expression of those systems, the personality of the cat's brain, would shift which myths are center stage. Let me walk through how your existing framework might translate, and where it would need to adapt. 1. The constants. Structures that don't change. These parts are so fundamental to being a mammal that the mapping stays largely intact. A cat's medulla, Cerberus, still guards the gates of life, breathing, heart rate. Cerebellum, Nyx and her children, is still the dark weaver of coordination. In fact, the feline cerebellum might be even more Nyx-like, silent, ancient, and executing ballistic precision without a whisper of conscious thought. Thalamus, Charon, still ferries sensory souls to the cortex. Hippocampus, Rhea, still births spatial memory, crucial for a hunter mapping territory. Those don't change. The hardware is the same. 2. The reshuffling. Where the emphasis shifts, this is where it gets interesting. In a cat, certain brain regions are weighted differently in the hierarchy of survival. The myths would reflect that. Amygdala, the judges of Hades. Human. The 3 judges evaluate complex social threats, moral violations, existential fears. Cat. The judges are still there, but their docket is different. They are less concerned with what will my boss think, and more concerned with is that a predator, is that prey, can I eat that? Mythic shift. The judges might feel more like Artemis the hunter or the Furies in their purest form, swift, merciless, environmental threat detection without the human layer of rumination. Prefrontal cortex, Zeus. Human. Zeus is the executive. He plans, inhibits, strategizes across decades, and manages the chaotic impulses of the other gods. Cat. Zeus is smaller. Not absent, but quieter. A cat has impulse control. It doesn't attack the moment it sees a bird if a window is closed, but it lacks long-term planning or complex social inhibition. Mythic shift. Zeus is still on Olympus, but he's a younger, less experienced king. He defers more often to the older, instinctual gods. Or perhaps he is Zeus Xenios, Zeus of strangers, hospitality, briefly assessing a newcomer before handing control back to the Furies. Basal ganglia, Cronus, Saturn. Human. Habits, routines, the autopilot of daily life. Cat. This becomes massive. A cat's life is ritual. The patrol route, the kneading before sleep, the specific meow for food. Cronus, time, cycles, harvest becomes the dominant deity in the feline brain. The cat doesn't decide to do these things, it is harvested by them. Insula, Métis. Human. Interoception, the sense of the body's internal state. I feel anxious in my stomach. My heart is racing. Cat. Métis is still there, but her wisdom is purely somatic. A cat knows instantly if its body is off. It feels the subtle vibration of an approaching footstep through the ground. The insula in a cat might be less about emotional intuition and more about survival intuition. Métis becomes the quiet advisor who never speaks in words, only in body sense. Visual cortex, Vulcan, Hephaestus. Human. The forge where light is hammered into images. Important, but shares power with language and abstract thought. Cat. Vulcan becomes a primary god. A cat's visual cortex is optimized for detecting motion in low light. The forge is working overtime, constantly. Hephaestus in the cat brain is not just a craftsman, he is a watchman, tirelessly hammering every flicker of shadow into a potential threat or meal. 3. New gods would emerge in a feline brain mapping. You might need to elevate or introduce figures that are minor or absent in the human version. Function feline emphasis potential mythic figure superior colliculus visual startle orienting the reflex that makes a cat's head whip toward a laser pointer. Argus panoptes the all-seeing giant. But a faster, twitchier version. Vomeronasal organ Jacobson's organ the Fleeman response, that, stinky face, cats make to analyze sense. Hermes psychopomposed guide of souls but guiding chemical information directly into the brain's deep centers. Reticular activating system arousal sleep-wake cycles the reason a cat can go from dead sleep to full hunt in 0.2 seconds. The Oniroi dream gods with a direct hotline to Ares. Whisker barrel cortex the brain region dedicated to whisker sensation. The Moirai again, but smaller, faster, spinning the web of tactile space around the cat's face. 4. The big takeaway your system works on cats because mythology is a language of functions, not species. Zeus is the function of executive restraint. If the species has it, Zeus is there. The Furies are the function of threat response. If the species startles, they are there. Nyx is the function of coordinated movement. If the species moves, she is there. The difference is the weight of each god in the pantheon. A human brain is a Greek polis, complex, political, full of committee meetings. A cat brain is a hunt. The gods are still there, but they are crouched, silent, and ready to spring.